Good evening from Sri Lanka, where the authorities are blaming a local Islamist group for the Easter Sunday attacks, which have left 290 people dead and 500 others injured. Many of those killed include foreigners and Britons, at least 8 of them. The Sri Lankan government says this local group must have had international support to have launched these coordinated attacks. The first reports came in yesterday morning at about 8:45 local time of explosions at churches in Negombo, Batticaloa and Colombo, along with 3 hotels in the city. 2 more explosions followed on the outskirts of the capital. Later in the evening, a pipe packed with explosives was defused near the airport. And this morning, detonators were found at a bus station in the city. And in the afternoon, another blast at a shrine as police were attempting to defuse explosives in a van. Well, police have arrested 24 people in connection with the bomb attacks, and a state of emergency has now been declared. Let's get the very latest now from our correspondent, Yogita Limai.
Another explosion near one of the bombed churches, in a country that's already on the edge. A van blew up when the police tried to defuse explosives inside it. No one was hurt. But on Easter Sunday, hundreds died. Many of them here at St. Sebastian's Church. It's believed to be the site of the deadliest bombing. The hall was packed with families who'd come here to pray. A priest who was at the altar has told me that just before the service ended, a person entered through one of the side doors and detonated a bomb. Such was the impact, it's destroyed everything inside. But even here outside, shattered glass everywhere, roof tiles that are broken. And all around, a strong smell of blood and death. People have begun to say goodbye to loved ones. The Allen family is from Thailand. They were on holiday in Sri Lanka. These boys lost their mother Monique when she was at breakfast in a 5-star hotel.
You know, my wife loved Sri Lanka, and this was her favorite country, and she was so happy, and I think maybe it was her destiny to go back home, you know, in Sri Lanka.
Among the 8 British nationals who've been killed are Anita Nicholson, her son Alex, and her daughter Annabelle. In a statement, Ben Nicholson said his wife and children had the priceless ability to light up any room they entered and bring joy to the lives of all they came into contact with. Also among the dead are retired firefighter Bill Harrop and his partner Sally Bradley from Manchester. The vast majority of those dead are Sri Lankan. Hundreds of families in this country in grief. Popular chef Shanta Maya Dunne, seen here on the left, and her daughter Nisanga to the right, posted this photo just before they were killed at the Shangri-La. Some, like Rameshwari, are still searching. Today, a Sri Lankan minister apologized to his people.
We are very sorry as a government, we have to say, and we have to apologize to the families and the other institutions about this incident.
Several people have been arrested, and the government has blamed a local hardline Islamist group for the attacks. There are questions about whether warnings about the bombings were not passed on.
The intelligence never indicated that it's going to be an attack of this magnitude. They were talking about isolated 1 or 2 incidents, not like this. And also, besides, there is no emergency in this country. We can't request the armed forces to come and assist us. We can only depend on the police. So we have informed the police.
For a people that have endured war, these attacks are a sudden reminder of more violent times. Yogita Limai, BBC News, Colombo.
Well, meanwhile, the relatives and friends of some of those who died, they still try to identify some of the bodies, and it is a grim and grisly task, as we've been finding out today.
At the police morgue today, the living are looking for the dead. Those gathered cluster around a giant video screen as images appear. Grotesque photographs of those they held dearest, still bloodied. It is a particular torment to learn not just that a loved one has died, but to see how they died. Some of the injuries mean visual identification is impossible. Sahir Devi survived the attack on St. Anthony's Church, but her friend in the picture is still missing.
I just saw smoke. Then I grabbed my daughter's hand and we both ran. When we got outside, we saw dead people. There were small children and I was covered in blood.
It was a global tragedy. These are Swiss diplomats trying to locate their missing citizens, as names and pictures are cross-referenced against passport details. But it's Sri Lanka that by far bears the heaviest weight of loss. Local people who must try to make sense of all this. A Christian community left flailing for answers.
It's a very emotional situation here. We are trying to, console their hearts, to help these people who are really in tears, who are broken into pieces.
Claiming the bodies of the dead and laying them to rest begins the healing process. This man witnessed the aftermath of the explosion that killed his brother-in-law. And along with many others, it's the images of children that stick in the mind.
This is a terrible tragedy. It's unimaginable. There were bodies of small children. They were in such small pieces that you couldn't identify them. I can't tell you how sad I feel.
There's been no violence on this scale since the end of the Civil War a decade ago. As his brother-in-law's body begins its final journey, many now pray yesterday's insanity isn't a harbinger of worse to come.
Well, the Islamist group the government believes may have been responsible for all those deaths. It's a local group called National Tawhid Jamaat, known up till now really for desecrating and vandalizing Buddhist shrines, certainly not able to coordinate the kind of attacks that we saw yesterday. And that's why the authorities firmly believe that this group, if it is involved, must have had international help to launch all those attacks. Well, I'll be back a little bit later on with a bit more from here in Sri Lanka, but with that, Simon, it's back to you.